Hi everybody, this is Cheryl, and today I am going to show you how to make a very simple but cute snowman. Now, let's go back to my Tipsy Tuesday about socks, and I had said that I would show you how to make these snowmen out of socks. However, I kind of have a little bit of a collaboration going with Soggybottom Homestead, because if you recall, I just shouted out her channel as her doing a giveaway, and one of the prizes that she's giving away is a pair of snowmen that her and her mother made. Well, I had talked to her about it, and I said, well, that was one of the things I was going to show. So she's going to make her snowman, and she's going to show them, and then I have my snowman, and we're going to link up the videos. Now, I'm going to show you here. This is a snowman. He's very simple. He's very crude. I actually made these one year when I worked at the daycare, when I was the director of it, and the kids made these to take home, and they're very, very super easy to make. Now, you can be very elaborate the way that Dawn and Millie did with their snowmen. You can make these as fancy as you want, or as simple as you want. Now, what are you going to need to make this absolutely adorable little snowman? First of all, he is made with a sock, and here it is. These are the best to make, tube socks. Now, this is a men's tube sock, and these are the best to use, but you can use the kind with the heel in them, but they come out a little more lopsided than the tube socks. So basically all you do is you cut off the top, and you can cut it off however far you want to. Okay? And this is the body and head of your snowman. Okay? Now, you want to make a rice bag. Now, there's two ways of doing this. You can either put the rice bag down in the bottom, or this can be your bottom, whichever way you prefer. Now, I chose the cut end for my bottom on these, because I had used one of these, and if you look on the bottom of the sock, there's a yellow patch there, and I didn't want that to show, so I hid it underneath the hat. So it depends on whichever way you want to do it. Now let me show you how to make the little rice bag. Now you start out with a simple circle of fabric, and you can use any kind of fabric you want. Now you make a running stitch in the fabric. To make a running stitch, and I'll see if I can show you this, you just simply take up just weave your needle in and out. Can you see that? Weave your needle in and out around the edge of your fabric, and this is called a running stitch. And basically, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but it basically gathers up your fabric. Now you go all the way around the outer edge of your fabric, and it'll take me just a second to do this. You just weave it in, and you want kind of big stitches for this, because that's what, if you have your stitches too small, then it's going to they won't pull like they should, and you want it together, like a little bag. So, all right, almost done here. Now once you get this around to where you started, you should be able to gather the entire thing. Now you've got a little cup here. Now At this point, you can use a variety of things. You can use beans, you can use lentils, any kind of dry peas or beans. You can use dry rice, or you can go and buy the beads that that are for this kind of thing. That you can buy them in the craft department. They're like used in Beanie Babies. You can buy the little pellet things, and you just scoop you some rice or whatever you're choosing to use into that. And then, where'd my rice go? Oh, sorry, here it is. So I'm just using plain, ordinary, dry rice. Let's see if I can do this without making a huge mess. And you need, oh, it depends on how big you make it. You can make them smaller, you can make them bigger. You don't want to fill it so full you can't tie it up. But once you get your rice into your little cup, let's see if I can lift this up here. Once you get the rice into your little cup, see that? Then you just pull this completely closed. And mine's not wanting to close up for some reason. I've got a knot somewhere. And then, once you get that closed up, I've got a knot and it's not going to close. You just sew the opening closed like this, okay? Now, I'm going to let Angel figure out why we are not closing while I continue on with the other part of this. I've got a knot right here. There it is. Okay, there we go. So, you close it up and you just sew that closed, okay? And when you sew this closed, you just kind of bunch it up. And now this is the same stitch that you would use to close up your snowman too. You just kind of go in through all the bunched up fabric and you just sew it closed. Very simple to do. Now, these are not normally used for toys, so you don't have to worry about too much about making sure that it's like super tight closed. Now, if you are going to make these for kids to play with, I would advise you to really make sure that it's good and closed. But these are just for decoration. The kids in the daycare just couldn't wait to get home and set them underneath their tree, and that's where they've set. I've kept in contact with some of them over the years, and they still have them under their Christmas trees every year. But you just kind of stitch that opening closed, okay? And then you have a little rice bag. Now, this is so that your snowman will sit up. If you did not have that, the snowman, and he's not going to balance on this laptop, but Angel, hold him, but he would sit up. This would help him be bottom heavy so he could sit up. Okay, so we're going to close this up here real quick and then move on to the next phase of it. Now, like I said, if you're using a tube sock that does not have a colored bottom, which this one doesn't have a colored bottom, so I'll show you how to do that. Let me snip this thread. Okay, you would take your tube sock, you would put your rice pouch into the toe of the tube sock. Got cats playing in the kitchen. And just kind of lay it in the bottom like that. And then you would fill your snowman with fiber fill. And you just stuff the fiberfill right down in there. Now, when you're putting the fiberfill in, you can fill it as full as you want it. It can be as stiff as you want it, or it can be as loose. You know, it just depends on what you're wanting to do with it. But you just take it and you stuff him as full as you want. Now, the only thing about this is that when you are filling it, you want to make sure that's not so tight that you can't tie off the head. Now, you also want to make sure that it's not lumpy. So you want to kind of incorporate your fiberfill to where it kind of blends together. And you see I'm just kind of pushing it so it kind of blends together. And you don't want it to be lumpy. And, you know, just kind of work it around and, you know. So once you get it full, I'm going to put a little bit more in here. Once you get it full, you basically do the same thing with the top as you did for your little rice bag. And you just take your thread and you just run it around the top edge of the sock. Again, just a running stitch. Let's see. And you want kind of big stitches. It's hard to show on this. You want kind of big stitches. You just pull it tight so that closes up, okay? Now this is going to be the head of your snowman, okay? And you just kind of pull that tight all the way around. Now on this part of it, this is going to be hidden. So you don't have to worry about it being real pretty, because this part of it is going to be hidden underneath his hat. Now there's two ways you can make a hat. The one way is out of felt. Now you can make a top hat, you know, like a lot of like Frosty wore. You can have a hat like that by making it out of felt. You just cut a round circle and then make a cylinder piece and then a flat piece and then glue them all together to make the top hat. But we don't have any black, and so we're not going to make any of those right now. But once you get that sewed like this, you just kind of wrap it to make sure it's tight and then tie you a knot. Tie it off. Okay. And then it's time to decorate your snowman. Now, to decorate the way we made it, where's my snowman? What this right here is a baby sock. Now, if you remember when I told you Tipsy Tuesday, you're going to need a small sock. Now, let me show you some baby socks, because I actually got a bag of socks, and there was a lot of mismatched socks in it. It was a big bag of baby socks. Now, I'm going to show you some baby socks that are good and some that are not. Something like this would not be good, because when you put it on his head, those words are going to be upside down. So a hat like that would not work. Something like this would be good. You could use something like that. You could use something like this. You've got little hearts on it. Now, your hearts are going side by side. See that? Now, the only thing that I would not use this for, it does say 16 to 18 months on it. So I wouldn't use that one. Here's a plain white one. I would avoid the white because you got a white snowman. You know, you want something colorful. So I would avoid that. Here's another one. Now this one has a picture. Now the problem with that, the elephant's going to be upside down when you put it on his head. So not a good one. These are the only two that would work. Now, we're going to try this one. What you do is you open the sock all the way to the toe. Okay? And you take it and you put that toe right on top of that knot. And then you just pull this down, right down on top of the head. And you just kind of roll it up to look like a stocking cap. Now, so you want to kind of mark down to where you want the head. Now at this point, you can use rubber bands. I'm not going to use rubber bands. I'm going to use a length of yarn, which I had a length of yarn here. There it is. And I'm just going to take and wrap this yarn around the spot where I want the neck to be. Okay, and I'm just going to, let's see if I can raise this up. Wrap it around and then just kind of tie it off like you would your shoe one time. Pull it as tight as you can. Wrap it around again, making sure you pull it tight. Now this is why you don't want it overstuffed. Okay, pull it tight, then you knot it. Okay, and you want it pretty tight. You want to make sure that it's really, really tight. This is where the rubber bands would come in to make it very tight. But now, at this point, you can trim these off. You can tuck them in to the thread into your yarn. You know, however you want to do it, you can just trim them off. Just kind of hide the ends inside the, just tuck it inside there, you know, to kind of hide it. Okay, now at this point you want to work it up to where he looks like a snowman. Now this one has kind of a funny head, but yeah. Okay, so you would just want to work him around like that. Now, then you're going to take, now we matched this one, you know, the scarf to match the hat, but we don't have any gray, so we're just going to use some red felt, and you just want to cut about 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch, something like that. Just cut a strip just like this of felt, and you want it long enough that when you do the wrap it around, you want it to come around like this. Okay, so about halfway, at about the halfway point, you choose where do you want the face, and I think I'm going to have the face, I think I'm going to have the face right there. So I'm going to put this behind where the face is. I'm going to pull this around and then just kind of work it to where you want it to look, how you want it to look, and then just one simple tie like this, and then just kind of work it the way you want it to where it looks like he's got a scarf. Okay, just like that, and just kind of work it around. Okay, and that's all you do. His scarf is on him, and then you just draw his face and his buttons and you know, all the features. Now you can also take a little bit of thread and you can tack his scarf into place. You can tack his hat into place so that they don't come loose. But there you go. Very simple. I need to work on him a little bit more, but there we go. Snowman, very easy to make. All right, y'all have a nice day. I want to see a lot of snowmen. Bye.